Hi guys, today I want to show you how I create little plugins inside Squarespace using AI, namely Claude or ChatGPT. So inside Squarespace, without using any third-party code, not buying any third-party plugins, just using Figma, inspiration, and AI. Hi, I'm Olga. I run Applet Studio. It's a Squarespace template shop and web design agency. I also teach designers how to create professional websites. So let's get straight into it. I have an idea for a slider. As you can see, I have three options, and I want these buttons to switch these options and these images. So how do I move this to Squarespace? Actually, there is a trick. So I'm inside my Squarespace site, and I can add custom code to any section. So let's say I create a section. I can add a custom code block. And this code block can have complete HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in it. And it can do anything I want. As for the images, I will upload them to Squarespace and I will copy the links to these images. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this design, take a screenshot, and give it to Claude to create the slider for me. And then I'm just gonna ask it to tweak it and upload it into Squarespace. Another thing to know is that you can have your HTML and CSS in here, but you can also host your JavaScript separately under the code injection. So this is the code injection. It's under not under pages, custom code. Also, you can have your JavaScript inside the advanced sections of each page. So right here. So you don't have to put it on the page. It can be either under the page settings or under the custom code. But you can use CSS here and you can reuse the images that you have in Squarespace. So let me go ahead and upload images and create links for these images first. So I'm gonna put in a section. And I'm just gonna create 3 images. And I will export these images. I'm not renaming them. And I'm just gonna plug them in here really quickly. Oops. So for the purposes of SEO, I would actually rename those images, but I'm not gonna do that now. Oops, it's the same one. Okay, now hit save and exit. And I'm gonna delete the section later, but I just wanna copy the image URL. So copy image address. I will put this into Claude right away. So I have Claude open. Copy image address. And put it into Claude. And I will ask Claude to recreate this design using these images and copy. Can you create an interactive slider for Squarespace? The slider will be used in a Squarespace code block. So I don't need the whole page HTML. I just need HTML for the slider itself with CSS and JavaScript separately. The slider is using the buttons, left and right buttons, to switch between these slides. I'm attaching the links to the images. The fonts are Fright and Futura. The background color is slightly beige. The slider needs to have a slight animation when you're switching between the slides. And it's gonna get to work. And now we just wait. Here's the final result that I got. So as you can see, it's a slider, just how I imagined it in Figma. Exactly the same thing. I would say I would tweak it more to get the padding right. But this is it. The whole thing lives inside the code block. So there's HTML, styles, and JavaScript. Let me show you how I arrived here. So when I initially asked to do this, I pasted the screenshot and I asked to do this. It didn't do it. Usually it's really good at understanding the screenshots, but not in this case because this is a complicated design. So things are shifted and this thing is outside of the container. So it took time to understand that. So what I did, I moved the design to Figma Make. Figma Make is a file that you can create inside Figma. So when you go back here and you click create, you can create a Figma Make file. And basically this is wipe coding inside Figma. What's interesting about it is that I can take any frame and copy it, Command C, copy it, and paste it into Figma Make. So it pastes a Figma file inside Figma Make. And then I just ask it to recreate the slider with auto layout in the hopes that Claude will understand the auto layout better. And it took me a while to tweaking it to make this image shifted, to create the right buttons, to make it behave like I want it to behave. And finally, I asked Figma Make for an HTML file, for pure HTML and styles file to feed into Claude. And that's when Claude was able to understand what I wanted it to do. And it also took several iterations. So first, it didn't create a shifted design. I pasted the design, then I pasted the Figma Make HTML, then I pasted the images, and then I was just tweaking it. Mostly I have the problem with the shifted image. What's interesting is that this kind of work took me around 40 minutes to do. And I have coded a whole bunch of plugins for Squarespace. This way I coded custom tags, I coded custom filters for the portfolio page, I coded a whole bunch of interactive sliders for my clients. So, and here's the final tip. If you are using Squarespace on a personal plan, so you don't have access to the code block, but you can have access to embed blocks. So if you go here and you search for, you have access to embed blocks where you can paste code snippet. So for one of my clients who had a site on a personal plan and it's just a one-page website, so it doesn't make sense to upgrade to a full core plan, I created an app with Base 44. Base 44 is a wipe coding platform. It has some free credits, so I used free credits to create a little app that literally hosts all this code and renders an embed code. And I pasted it in the embed snippet and it just works. So it's a little workaround how you can wipe code these little elements inside Squarespace without having to upgrade to the core plan. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to paste a Notion file with the code that I created here so you can copy it and play with it. Bye.